Welcome back for another video. It's the final video before Game Week 1. I went through the 25 biggest YouTube channels, well over 1 million subscribers, and I wrote down all 375 players they've picked in their final Game Week 1 teams, plus their captain, formation and chip strategy. So with such a valuable set of data, what trends can we identify? Who are the best picks? What's the best chip strategy? I've put links to all 25 channels in the description. They make great content and I recommend you check them out. We'll also take a look at the YouTube template FPL team at the end. I'm going to be live later for a couple of hours or so before the FPL deadline, so make sure you're there for the absolute chaos that will be. Goalkeepers first then, and the number one keeper is Verbruggen with 60% ownership. Brighton were actually 5th best defence last season for expected goals conceded, 2nd best in the league in the second half of the season, and they've made some new signings at the back as well. Struijk and Vuskovic join him. So yeah, Verbruggen could be great value for 4.5 mil this year, and of course he's handy for the Game Week 1 bench boost as well, which some YouTubers are doing. Kinski's number 2 with 52% ownership. Those are the two big favourites in terms of keepers, and then it's Raya and Lamans with 24% ownership, Rushworth 12%, that's with a view to bench boost in Game Week 2 rather than 1, and 8% have gone with Sherpen, who's basically for Game Week 1 as well, with Sunderland home. Is Sanchez going under the radar? He's only got one owner, which is FPL Tips. Jorgensen's gone on loan for the season, so he's nailed on. No Europe for Chelsea. Alonso comes in as new head coach. Like, perhaps Chelsea defence is being slept on a bit. What's your goalkeeper pairing for the start of this season? It's also worth mentioning that if you don't plan to bench boost early on, you can kill your second goalkeeper spot with a 4 mil keeper, even if they don't play. You don't necessarily need to spend the extra 0.5 mil there. Goalkeeper injuries are rare, so a very popular strategy is to have one set and forget starting keeper. Of course, like some weeks you can have difficult fixtures for your set and forget keeper, it does happen, but teams can keep unpredictable clean sheets anyway, and rotating keepers can end up causing a massive headache when you're benching unexpected clean sheets, save points and bonus. However, on a bench boost, then of course you need the minimum of 4.5 mil spent there for those extra points on your bench. Defenders next, and there's been some really big movements since the first edition of this video. Calafiori shoots up from 28 to 88% owned. Mosquera was number 1 last time round, but Konsa's joining Arsenal now, and that has obviously caused some doubt over him long term. But you know the story with the Arsenal defenders, they could all be risky besides Raya and Gabriel, so you get what you pay for. They cost the premium price tag for a reason. Maguire's also bumped up from 36% to 60% ownership, ahead of the two best opening fixtures, Hull away, Ipswich home. Loads of potential there for goals and clean sheets. Those are the two most owned defenders by a distance actually compared to the rest, and then it's Ballard, and then it's Thomas, O'Shea and Davis, all 24% owned, and then below that we've got Shaw, Rodon and Aya. Mosquera drops from 64% down to 16%. Mosquera will still start against Coventry, but Game Week 2 onwards is a bit of a question mark now. David Ornstein has tweeted that Konsa's set to make his debut at Aston Villa on August 31st. Not that he's aware of team selections, of course, unless it was promised to him as part of the signing or something that he'll play that one. So yeah, Mosquera could potentially be a 1 week pick, so I would think that's enough to avoid him now. White is also at 16% owned. He wasn't selected at all before, but now he does actually make more sense to pick. Plus you've got Mihajlovic, Hume, Van der Wijk, Williams and O'Reilly there. So Munier is available for Sunderland to play right back next match this game week, and Labrie said in his presser that Mukiele is okay as well. So there's actually a good chance that we see Hume back in right wing. He might not get the 90 unless Munier comes off and then second half Hume pushes back to right back. But that was what caught everyone's eye in pre-season. He's a 4.5 mil defender, but he's been playing right wing, 1 goal, 1 assist in pre-season. He's not first choice anywhere, Hume, and that's his problem, but he's usually in the starting 11 one way or another. But he could be a fun short-term punt for 4.5 mil, given that he's got Ipswich and then Fulham home. Let's take a look at a specific YouTuber team. My good mate FPL Harry, top manager. How's he lined up? So he's gone Verbruggen, Vuskovic, Mihajlovic, Calafiori, Bruno and Bumo, Gross, Zolis, DCL, João Pedro and Haaland. Very template, but that's classic Harry. He's got his bench boost active as well. So he's got Kinski, Sangare, Diop and Maguire on the bench. This is classic Harry as well, putting Maguire on his bench to make the bench boost look better than it is. You definitely start him. The only pick I'm a bit unsure on here is Vuskovic. He had an impressive debut in Europe last night, but he did play the 90, so could Herzler opt for a different centre-back pairing in Game Week 1? Like, he's going to be great this season, I have no doubts about that, but I've decided not to take the chance from game week 1. He's only a teenager and he might not be as nailed on as we think at the start of the season. Maharamovic will be, he's an amazing option for 5 mil as well, but it's a nice team from Harry. So let's look at midfielders next, and if you're finding this video useful, hit subscribe below. It's completely free and you can always change your mind. I'm going to be posting daily FPL content this whole season to help you win your league. So midfielders, and Bruno is in all but one team, 96% owned. What I immediately notice here is Zobo's ownership decline. He was literally 100% owned last video, but now in 3rd place at 56% owned. What do you think the reason for that is? And Bumo is up to 2nd with his ownership more than doubling. And Zolis wasn't even picked before, but now he's at 52%. Gross is on the same ownership as Zolis, and then it's Ndai, Sangare, Lefay, Gomez, Palmer, Semenyo, Verts, Sharda, Hinshelwood and Slater. My best guess is Zobo's deeper role in pre-season has been a factor, but I wouldn't let that put you off buying him. He's played deep lots in the past, plenty last season, still did just fine, and he has the direct free kicks and the corner threat. If I had to guess, if Liverpool win a penalty, it's probably Isak that takes it, as much as we hope it'd be Zobo, but he does have an elite record, Zobo. I think he's only missed one in his entire career. But Isak's not going to be on the pitch for 90 minutes every game, so there's still a chance they win one later in games and Zobo will take. Okay, let's do the forwards quick. So João Pedro at a whopping 96%. He's in all but one team. Calvert-Lewin in all but 2 teams. And Haaland drops from 96% to 72%. Isak is the 4th most owned forward, but just 20% ownership, so there is a template front 3 there for sure. Probably with just one manager owning him. Same with Valia Gelly, he's a 4.5 mil forward. Might start right wing in game week 1, but he's definitely not nailed on. So let's have a look at one final YouTuber team, and this one is completely different to Harry's in every way. It's FPL Tips. He's an inspiration of mine when I started this channel. One of the OG YouTubers, faceless channel. He actually did a face reveal very recently, which was massive news after like 10 plus years making content and no one knew what he looked like. Long before I started this channel, I worked an office job for many years, and on my lunch break, I'd be having a meal deal in my car listening to FPL Tips. He's a really top manager, loads of top 10Ks, and he's gone with Sanchez in goal, a 3-5-2 with Shaw, Mosquera and Calafiori at the back. In midfield, Bruno and Bumo, Semenyo, Palmer and Verts, and João Pedro and Thiago up front. And on his bench, it's Rushworth, Calvert-Lewin, Van der Wijk and Thomas. So, first of all, he's gone no Haaland. Secondly, he's bench boosting in game week 2 instead of game week 1. Like, if Haaland starts this season slowly and commentary keep a clean sheet in game week 2, this team is going to absolutely fly. Like, it really can unlock an explosive start going no Haaland. And the one thing a lot of people are forgetting is just the first 2 game weeks. Like, no Haaland does mean you basically have to either free hit game week 3 or wildcard game week 3 when they've got commentary home. I wouldn't want to go into that with no Haaland. I think there's going to be a lot of triple captaincies on him in game week 3. They've absolutely nailed the pricing this year. I think they really have got basically all the prices spot on. Like, there's a huge number of options that you can choose from that are valid, and no one feels like an absolute must-have essential. Like, even Haaland at 15.5% is just the right price for many managers sort of question whether he's worth owning for that. Are you guys on Haaland or no Haaland? Let us know in the comments. So, an overview of the teams then. 76% are running with a 3-4-3 formation, 20% 3-5-2, and 4% 4-3-3. 72% of the YouTubers are going to bench boost in game week 1, 20% are going to game week 2, and 8% are not looking at either of the first 2 game weeks, they're going later. And Bruno is now the #1 most popular captain. It's flipped. Haaland 32%, Bruno 68%. And rounding the video off with the YouTube template team, this is the 15 most owned players within budget. The bench boost is active as well, and the team is Verbruggen, Rodon, Maguire, Calafiori, Bruno captain and Bumo, Gross, Szoboszlai, Sangare, João Pedro and Haaland. So on the bench it's Kinski, Calvert-Lewin, O'Shea and Ballard. Sangare put up elite DEFCON numbers in Ligue 1 before his move to Brentford. He could be this year's Anderson, really cheap. He actually had slightly better DEFCON numbers than Anderson last year. And Anderson was the top midfielder in the league for DEFCONs, but let's see how that translates to the Premier League. In all likelihood, I think he's going to put up very good DEFCON numbers, and as I say, 5.5 mil is low risk, as is Gross for the same price. He had a good game in Europe. He put up the highest XGI in Brighton's Conference League qualifier last night. Brighton have to play the second leg next Thursday, which is at least a home fixture. This is perhaps one argument against Bench Boost 2 that you might have missed, might not have been aware of this, but aside from Brighton playing that game next Thursday, there's 9 other Premier League teams playing midweek before Game Week 2, so half the league are playing next week between Game Week 1 and 2. It's the League Cup qualifiers. Some of these obviously don't own any players from, some you will, but it could be a slight risk added of something going wrong before Bench Boost 2 and forcing a transfer. So Ipswich, Coventry, Hull, Brentford, Forest, Leeds, Newcastle, Spurs, Everton and Chelsea all play next week, midweek between Game Week 1 and 2, including Forest playing against Leeds. So that's a really tough one. They might go somewhat strong there. So this is the final video. I wish you all the best of luck this season. I'm going to be live later for today's deadline stream, so make sure you come by and hit subscribe as well for daily FPL content to help you win your leagues this season. If you like this video, you're going to love the Top All-Time Managers series, which is back for this year. 270 elite FPL managers. You get the data before each deadline. 403 top 10k finishes between them, so you can find out who the world's best at buying and selling, captaining and their teams. I'll put that video on screen now. I'll see you soon for the next one.